started, how to plan, start and grow a property business. It is TJ. It's great having you here. I'm going to shoot right into it. If you have never been here before, this is what we call the TJ tribe. And we are here. We are talking about important matters. These are family matters. If you are married, I'm going to repeat that again. If you are married, you're planning to get married, I would urge you that whenever I am live like this, bring your other party. If you're married in community of property, whoo, you have to watch these things and repeat them because you can't build something when you're not together. That's just tip number one there. I'm going to give you a whole lot of tips today. And that's just tip number one there. And when I've dropped a tip and I think it's a good tip, I'm just going to say it's a tip. So I'm trusting that you've got your pen and paper together. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you know someone else who is on a similar journey like you, and you like them, and you're like, this bro of mine or this lady of mine is also on a similar journey of building, send them the link, invite them so that we can all learn together. The information is for free. All you need to do is to send it to them and we can all learn together. And by growing together, all of us, we can be amazingly in a good position. Hopefully, we get to our financial freedoms. Right. I'm going to jump onto it. Right. So, like I did say today, it is all about property business. But actually, how do you start within this space? And it's very important that we need to plan around it. So, we're going to talk about the planning. We'll talk about how do you start. And then we'll talk about how you can then grow this business because it's something that we can do. Many people are doing it. So what is the difference between those people and you? Potentially the difference is that they just have a different information. And that is the information that I am going to be sharing with you today. So brace up yourself. If you don't have a pen and paper, do not worry. You can replay this. But it would be great if you can start to already have a pen and paper so that I think actually get a book. And every week you can write in that book. I'm going to urge you to do something in your book. On the one side of the book, I would like you to write something that you are going to change. And on the right-hand side, you are going to be writing something that you are learning. So this is a learning experience. Right-hand side, it is stuff that you're learning. Left-hand side, it's stuff that you're wanting to change. So actions for yourself or actions for your partner or whatever it is. But you can then be able to track all of this. So as I go along, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. and Mrs. Nkosi. This is Tabo and Mariki. They are happily married. They are here staying in the big city. They have their own kids. And over and above that, they are both employed. They have been running side hustles here and there, but none of these side hustles have ever been given them the big money. Might be a coffee shop. They might be selling some stuff. It might be chickens. I don't know whatever it is, but they have a side hustle. As you see yourself, whilst I am giving this example, ladies and gentlemen, write it down. They are aspiring to have a property business. That's what Mr. and Mrs. Nkosi are trying to do. How best can they do this? The first tip that I'd like to give you guys is that you need to be one team. You need to be one team. Now, Tabo and Mariki, yes, they are employed, but within my journey of mentoring a whole lot of people, I have seen a whole lot of people that are not even one team. What do I mean by one team? I want to give you a few questions and I would like you guys to write those questions down. Because if you have to write those questions down, the idea is that you can start asking yourself the same questions and to see whether you, if you are married to Mariki, you, if you are married to Tabo, are you actually one team within your family? Right. So the first one is that when I mean be one team, what does it mean? When I started off this property business, I was not one team with my wife. Even though that we were having conversations, but we were not one team. So what does one team mean? The first one, it actually basically means, which is the question that I'm going to ask you, are we working as one team? It's a question. Are we working as one team? Are we on the same goal? Are we talking about the same mission? Or is the other one talking that way? Or is the other one saving money and the other one is spending? So within the work that we are doing, are we working as one team? So guys, these are the things that makes us, there's a hindrance here. If Mariki is the spender and Tabo is the saver, then there is no one team. Because whilst the other one is working, the other one is demolishing, right? So that's the first thing that I want to ask you, to ask of you. It's up to you. I'm not saying that in the chat there you need to tell me, TJ, I don't think I'm not in the one team. No, that's what I'm saying. This session here is to enable you to start thinking around it, and then you can start to put the processes behind it. So the first question that I've asked you is, are you working as one team? The second one is, do we have structures that speak to the one team? Right? We want to have one team, but do we have structures that work as one team? I'm going to give you an example. Back in the days when I was starting off business, I went to borrow some money in my personal capacity, and my wife also went in to borrow in a personal capacity. And we went on to do some business, and those business failed. We thought we were one team, and we were pushing everything that we were doing. But the structure that we had, which was a zero structure, there was nothing there. We were doing everything in our personal names. By the time everything crumbled, it crumbled in the entire family. So the one team, yes, the concept was there, but the structure was not protecting the team. Does that make sense? We went to borrow in our personal capacities. It didn't work. And when it came down, it hit both of us. So which means that the structure that we had, it was not protected. So though we were working in the one team, but that one team was not protected. So how do those that are rich or those that are wealthy, how do they do it? There is skills. I'm going to jump into it a little bit later. The other question that I want to ask of you is, whilst we are still talking about being one team, is our money speaking one team? When we have one team, there is a coach, there is a captain, and then there's the strikers. I'm going to put it in a soccer team, and there is all others, those that drive in the defenders and so on. So if we are talking about money, and we are saying that the money is speaking into the one team, are we all driven into the money to go and work, or others are driven into the money to stay at home? So which means that within the team itself, we are not speaking of the same things. Are we also maybe talking about this is your money or this is my money? And yet we are trying to build something greater, which is building and growing a property business. You can't get there if you are not aligned. There has to be an alignment session that needs to be done to say, this is where we want to go. I hope this is adding some value to you. The fourth one that I also want to, this is not a question, but this is almost like a statement. I know I meet a lot of people that are married, and I want to ask you the question, if you are married like Tabo and Mariki, is your marriage contract allowing you to work together? Oof, that is so painful. That statement there, it is so painful, ladies and gentlemen, because for some of us, we are married in community of property, and just like Mariki and Tabo, Tabo had a boo-boo at one point. He's got an Edgar's account, and that account hasn't been paid. Mariki qualifies for 5 million rand, but because they are married in community of property, they can't actually start to plan. They can't actually start a business. They can't actually grow a property business just because of Tabo. So now the question that we need to be asking ourselves here is, is this marriage contract allowing us actually to be able to start and grow, or even better off to plan? So these questions that I'm asking you guys is they can help you in your planning sessions, because you need to have these questions as you talk. And by the way, I do not advocate for you to talk about these questions whilst you're at home. I always advocate, hey, grab a KFC, grab an ice cream somewhere at McDonald's, and go and have these conversations. Someone needs to lead these conversations so that you can start planning. If you want to use this video, use it. And also now start to think about your own circumstance of how best you can unpack that. The last question that I'm wanting to ask, especially when we're talking about be the one team, and being a one team allows you to start to plan, and then it will allow you to start, right? Is your conversations allowing you to start working together or to build? I see a lot of people that are in love. I've met a lot of Tabos and Marikis that are in love. But when it comes to conversations of building their families, it's just something that is impractical. I don't know why. If you are in love with someone else that you're in love with, I want to urge you that these conversations become key. I want to ask of you that these conversations here, you start having them. Maybe you might not be able to have the entire conversation all in one shot, but you need to start. Because if you start, then you can be able to plan better. When you see where the problems are, when you see where the opportunities are, or when you see where the defaults are, and then you can be able to maneuver that. Right. I'm hoping that it has given you a little bit of life in terms of being one team. So I'm going to give you a little bit of some tips on how best now you can maneuver into the future. So remember, I did say that by the end of this session, my goal is that I want to show you how you can build your business where it can create a 2 million Rand equity and it can create a cash flow of 30,000. And I'm going to make reference of some of the things that we've been doing together here. But the first one that I want to speak to you guys about is, here is a typical structure that will protect Mr. and Mrs. Mkosi. So you have always heard that you need to have a trust, that you need to buy properties in a company, and some of you don't know what that it looks like. Well, here it is. Today, Uncle TJ is giving that to you. So Tabo and Mariki, they are married. We are going to aspire that with their kids, they do not own anything. In the future, they can now start to buy their company. They can start to buy their properties into the company. And today we're going to call that company ABC Private Limited. But the ownership of this company is going to be in the trust. But we could be asking ourselves, so if Tabo and Mariki are the owners of this, right, and they don't own anything, so the trust owns anything. Yes, the trust owns everything, right? Now that is going to protect them. I told you of my story that at one point, my wife and I, we went in to borrow lots of money. Had we borrowed a lot of money in a company like ABC, we would have not been backward. We would have been thriving because this structure here could have protected our individualism. Because when you're now buying properties in a company like this one, like ABC, the banks doesn't borrow you the money, they borrow ABC. And sometimes the bank would then ask Tabo and Mariki to be the surety holder. And now the other opportunity that comes into this, ladies and gentlemen, is as an individual, when you borrow money, there is going to be a cap in terms of your borrowing power. But if you are buying in a company like this one, you have no limit, because companies are designed to borrow more money, right? Think of all the companies that we have across. They are all looking to get more money, and they will get more money as and when they are good for it. Okay, I hope this makes sense. I'm going to shoot. Now, in this one team, we're going to introduce a third person, and third person here is going to be our trustee. That's the guy in pink. So basically, Tabo, Mariki, and Mr. Legal, they will become the trustees. And within the trustees, they will manage the trust. And maybe Mariki or Tabo, whoever who is strong between the two of them, I am always advocating that the stronger person between the two of you is the one that needs to lead. So you, Tabo or Mariki, will become the director within ABC. And within ABC, now we can have an opportunity where the entire business now is now working for the Nkosi's family. And there is nothing that belongs to you. There is nothing that belongs to me. But whatever that we are building in ABC now, it now belongs to the Nkosi family. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm hoping that this is making a lot of sense. If this stuff is not making sense to you and it's totally new to you, and you're like saying to yourself, TJ, what is this all about? I normally host what I call masterminds. And this is level 1. I've got 4 levels of these things here that I'm talking about, of just structures. I've just touched on structures. Structures that you need to plan and start to have, but that will allow you to grow your business. I normally have this masterminds over a weekend. It's a Saturday and a Sunday. And in the link, if you're wanting to join us, we will accommodate you. You can come in. We always have these masterminds, but I'm going to continue now to show you the next couple of things that you need to be doing. So I did speak about working as one team, right? So this is here about working the one team. What is the next thing that we need to talk about? This is now step number 2. So step number 1 was be one team. Yeah. So you're intentionally thinking, you're planning around it to become one team between Tabo and Mariki. The second one now that I'm going to be talking to you about is learn together. Oh, come on. Learn together. What do I mean by that? When I mean learn together, I'm going to say to you guys, when I came to Johannesburg, to the big city, my wife and I, we worked for all these big corporates and so on. And life became nice because we started buying the nice cars, we started buying the big house, and we started becoming or seeing the Johns, and we became the Johns and not the Jacks. But do you know what? We knew nothing about these trusts. So we had to start learning. We knew nothing about companies. So we had to start learning. And my relationship with my wife enabled us to start learning these things because we were hungry for it. So we started planning to say, we don't know this. What do you know about it? What do you know about it? Nothing. Okay. So who is the teacher around us who can open up our eyes? Oh, I know so and so who has got a company. I know so and so who runs this. Okay, great. I know this lawyer who does this. Oh, I know this course that are being run by Robert Kiyosaki. Oh, I know this course that is being run by so and so. Let's go and plug in. So we went together and we started learning. So coming through to work for the big corporates and coming through into the big cities and earning the big money does not imply that you know everything. Look for what you don't know. Look for the right teachers. Start learning in and learn from them. And as you grow, today they might be the right teacher for you. Tomorrow, they may not be the right teacher for you. Right. So within this picture, this was my turning point with my wife. This picture here was, my wife and I, we had spent round about 3 days at a school. This was a Robert Kiyosaki school called Legacy. And within these 3 days, it blew my mind. Everything that I thought I knew, about property, at this time, I'm a banker. Everything that I thought I knew as a banker, boom, it was gone, right? But to tell you the truth, when I now started leaning in to learn a little bit more, my whole world changed. I started coming into a space of, what does that mean? I started coming into a space of, how best can I get more? And it all started off within this weekend where I was able to lean in, but I didn't lean in on my own. This is my point. I leaned in with my wife. And ever since then, my wife and I, whatever we do it together. We are learning together. Now, you might be saying to yourselves, TJ, you know what? My partner would never go. They are not in a point where they can see the vision of the team. So it basically means that there is no one team. So you need to work together so that you can get into the one team that we're talking about. I want to stress the fact that Robert Kiyosaki, this was an ad that I saw recently, and it said most people never get wealthy simply because they are not trained financially to recognize opportunities right in front of them. Guys, that is so powerful. Because if you're not able to see these opportunities, there are lots of people that are buying stuff, lots of people that are building their businesses, lots of people within the tribe alone. There's just below 100 people, active people, husbands and wives, who are Tabos and Mariki, who are building their family businesses, building from student accommodation, mixed use, warehouses, all of those medical. What is that thing that he's building again? A hospital. People who are doing that, they are no different from you. The only difference is that they've been educated. That's the only difference. Now, once you have done all of this, the best thing that you now need to do is to start working together. Work together. What do I mean by that? I see a lot of people that go out there and they become information junkies. And within the information junkies, they know a lot of stuff, but they are not working together. I'm a big advocate of working. So you go and learn and you do. You go and learn and you do. It's very simple. If you do, you're going to see the results. So I remember that I did share with you guys here. If you are coming through to this year, this is the first time. I've done a couple of videos, around about 4 videos. And within these 4 videos, I have indicated 4 projects where you could have easily earned some money. And I'm going to take an assumption that in year number 1, Tabo and Mariki went to buy their first property that gave them an equity of 250. You'll remember that property, right, that we did. If you didn't see that video, go to our live tab right now and you can see some of those videos that we did. And basically, it was a property that someone else was going to buy for 340,000, and there was equity of 250 that one could have obtained. So that's now 250 that they've just obtained, and with I think it was just below 1,000 rand of cash flow. So we'll say 250 you have banked, 1,000 rand for your cash flow. The next project that I did speak to you guys about on recent times was that property in the Boksburg area, and we said that it could give you 15,000 rand cash flow, and it could also give you 600,000 equity. So I'm going to add that 600 to the 250, and now we are around about at 850 equity. By the way, I am not saying Tabo and Mariki needs to be buying these properties next month and next month. I am talking in years. So this is a 4-year plan that I'm just giving you with similar properties that I am showing you here, because these properties, anyone can go and buy them. Tabo and Mariki, they have their ability. The next property is the 750, which we saw, the one in Cape Town. That's giving them no equity at all, but it's giving them a cash flow of 4,257. And the next deal that we spoke about recently, which was an equity of 670, and that was earning you 6,572. And if you had to add these 4 deals in a period of Tabo and Mariki, and they are just buying one property a year, they are just buying one property a year. Why one property a year? Maybe they do not have the transfer fees because they need to save for it. They've got kids, we realize that. and they are just buying one property a year. If they are to do that by working together year on year, they would have just built Tabo and Mariki, Mr. and Mrs. Nkosi. In 4 years' time, they would have built an equity of 1.5 million on similar deals if they are educated on how to see these opportunities. And above that, they would make a cash flow of 25,829. Maybe today Mariki is actually earning around about 30,000. Bingo, we are very close now in terms of replacing her income. Maybe Tabo is earning around about 50,000. Bingo, we are 20,000 away. Well, 25,000 away from replacing his income. So what now is missing between the Nkosi and to make these opportunities? A friend of mine, actually, she worked for around about 20 years for a good corporate. For 20 years, she worked for a good corporate and she managed to get out of her pension 2 million rand. And Mr. and Mrs. Nkosi, by just working together, by putting in the plans, by starting asking the right questions so that we can work together, they've been able to grow their business for 4 years diligently, and they are able to create an equity of 1.5. They are able to create a cash flow of 25,000. And maybe all of this now is within their property business. They are not buying it in their own personal names. They are buying this in the business. This is what one team is all about. You're working together, achieving the results that you're looking for. Mr. Tabo, Mrs. Mariki, and their kids now have the benefit of 25,000. Can they go on holiday? I don't know. Whatever that they are going to use their money that's within their business, that's their own business, right? Now, as we go along, now I want to say to you, I'm a big fan of celebrating. So the day that we are going to close the one deal, we celebrate. Next year, we close the other deal, we celebrate. Next year, we close the third deal, we celebrate. The other year, we close the fourth deal. Again, we celebrate. And as we celebrate all of this, we are building the one team. And as we are celebrating, we are building the one team under the ABC. And we can now start to achieve what we're now calling the celebration. Could be something else. It could be holidays. My wife and I, we enjoy doing holidays and so on. But whatever the celebration that you are doing, it is driving to one goal: freedom. And what is that freedom? And that freedom is financial independence. What do I mean by financial independence? Creating your own economy. So for a lot of people, I didn't know this actually. At one point, I had no idea what it meant to be financial independent because it was a new term for me. And I was thinking to myself, financial independence, what does it mean? It means to run your own business. It means to have your own money coming through to you when you know when it's coming, how it's going to come, to be paid in multiple times. And for a lot of us, okay, let me speak about me. I couldn't even see opportunities beyond or outside being employed. I couldn't see it. So I'm giving you now the test of what that looks like. I apologize, we're going over time. I'm giving you the opportunity of how you can do that. And the first thing that you need to do is just to attend the mastermind. Maybe that's the first thing, right? I've been having clients all over the show and getting them to where they're wanting to grow their business. So if it is financial independence, you are looking for freedom. Freedom in terms of time. Freedom in terms of being able to do what you want when you want to do it. But you have assets that are paying you. You have a business that is paying you. There is a roadmap for 4 years. You can easily do that. What is holding you back is just the information that you don't have. And this guy here has some of that information. Some of the people in the tribe have the information. You just need to attend. I was never this sharp. No, I was exactly like you. So I'm going to show you here, back in the days where I was exactly like you. And when I started off within this class here, that's me a few years ago. I know nothing, totally nothing. But what did I do? I leaned in. From leaning in, I was able to learn. From learning, today I am able to teach others, right? Because I now have the understanding. And out of that, people like Mariki, the Nkosi family, they can now do what they want to do. So I introduce you, ladies and gentlemen, to the new Mr. and Mrs. Nkosi, who are now happily married, still have their kids, and they choose to be employed. They choose to be employed. And now they run a successful business of property business. And with this, ladies and gentlemen, I have just given you the tip of the iceberg of what it can look like or what their business looks like. So the representation of 25,000 can be 100,000, can be 200,000. The representation of 3 properties can be 20,000, can be 20 properties, can be 50 properties. What is stopping you? Nothing. It's just the information. So I'm going to hang on here, and this is a personal invitation to say, when you feel cold, when you want to change your own narrative, the mastermind is available. I will see you at the mastermind. And for tonight, it is good night. And I'm hoping that this information has been of value to you. Don't forget to subscribe. And we'll see you again next week, Wednesday,